Welcome to our special Sorceress CEO series, my friends. As we step into this new year together, I want to invite you into a journey that is both deeply practical and profoundly spiritual. A journey to reimagine how we do business as women entrepreneurs, weaving in principles of the sacred feminine. This 6-part series is designed to empower you around the themes that often challenge us the most: money, pricing, choosing a business model, delegating, marketing, defining your niche, and more. Each episode will offer clarity and actionable steps to create a business that aligns with your values, supports the life you want, and amplifies your impact in our troubled world. This isn't just about strategy, it's about reclaiming business as a spiritual practice, one where you root into your power, honor your intuition, and lead with your devotion to service and love. Over the next 6 weeks, I'll draw from over 2 decades of experience supporting thousands of women on their entrepreneurial paths, blending tried and true wisdom with fresh practices to help you stay relevant and inspired in 2025's ever-evolving landscape. So settle in, whether you're listening with your morning coffee, on a walk, or between client calls. I'm grateful you're here. Let's redefine what it means to be a Sorceress CEO and explore the sacred power of doing business in a way that's uniquely, authentically yours. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to Herself, a space for women to have deep conversations about the intersection between spiritual entrepreneurship and fulfilling your potential, so you can become the woman you truly are in every area of your life. After being in business for over 2 decades, I've learned, as you likely have too, that as you grow your business grows you in unexpected, often challenging, yet miraculous ways. Here, we'll talk about how to get out of your own way so you can grow a business that's abundant and sustainable while allowing you to be a force for good in the world. I'll give you simple, actionable strategies as well as wisdom and inspiration to help you root into your wholeness, lead from your values, and work in ways that feel deeply aligned so you can bring your true self into the world through your business and in every area of your life. Welcome back, beautiful women. As we are nearing the end of January, I don't know about you, but this year has already been quite a ride. For me, it has included some honestly heavy and hard moments. Multiple family members, specifically my mom and my fiance, were hospitalized actually with the same serious health condition, with blood clots in their lungs. And it's been hard and it's been scary at times. And despite the challenges, I've really been reveling in the fact that I have at the same time felt really grounded and resourced in myself and in the practicalities of my life in ways that I haven't experienced before at this level. And I feel like this is a testament to the way that I live and work now, which is much more sustainable and suited to my nature. I have lived and learned a lot, and I'm grateful for that. This week feels like a good kind of a reset because some of these things were happening over New Year's and I just kind of didn't feel like I had a New Year's day. And this week we are celebrating the Lunar New Year, marking the start of the year of the wood snake. And I am someone who was born in the year of the snake, and so this feels especially meaningful. So if last year, which this past year has been the year of the wood dragon, that was more of a yang year, filled with really fiery energy and outward action. This year is calling us into a more yin energy. So it's beckoning us to slow down, to lean into our creativity, and to make really thoughtful and intentional progress on our deepest dreams. So here are just a few things to think about as we move into the year of the wood snake, and that is to embrace your creativity and think outside the box, to prioritize careful, even methodical planning over impulsive action, to cultivate patience and trusting the slow, steady unfolding of your path and of your work, nurturing your relationships with generosity while maintaining healthy boundaries, and above all, focusing on your own well-being, taking care of yourself first. You are the most important asset in your business. So this yin energy really aligns beautifully with the work that we're doing here in the Sorceress CEO series, which is all about bringing more feminine leadership into the ways that we're building and growing our businesses. And this brings me to today's topic, which is finding your niche or claiming your unique corner of what has become a very saturated market. So this is part 4 in our 6-part series, and it's all about discovering that sweet spot between where your passion, your expertise, and your clients and customer needs, where those intersect, kind of that Venn diagram. And a clear niche, I cannot emphasize this enough. It really makes your business stand out in a crowded marketplace, and it allows you to focus your energy and deepen your impact and create a business that feels really aligned with who you are at your core. And that's ultimately what we want, because we work so much of the time and we are offering things that we're really passionate about. So we want to be able to enjoy that and to, at the same time, be able to live the lives that we want. I'll also add that clarifying your niche is one of the most valuable steps you can take for both yourself and your business in today's marketplace. So with more noise out there than ever before, you have to differentiate yourself. You have to, I had a hard time saying that word, differentiate yourself. Okay, repeat, redo. Not only by identifying who you're speaking to, but also really clearly defining how you stand out, what makes you different from what other people are doing. And when you have this clarity, everything else becomes easier. Your messaging, your marketing, your offers, and even the people that you attract into the world of your business. It's like a magnet drawing those right fit clients to you because they feel seen, they feel understood, they feel aligned with your values and with the work that you're offering. So let's break this down a little bit more. Let's talk about how to find and define that niche in a way that feels accessible and also like you. So first, I think it would be helpful to address the question, what is a niche in the first place? So a niche, which some people also call a niche, but I was a student of French for a long time, so I'm going to say niche, is a specialized area of focus within a larger market. It's where you direct your efforts, your expertise, and marketing to serve a specific audience with specific needs. So at its core, a niche is about identifying and addressing the unique challenges, desires, goals of a well-defined group of people, often in a way that sets you apart from others in your field. So for entrepreneurs, finding your niche means honing in on that sweet spot where these 3 key elements intersect. Okay, so listen up. The first key element is what you are passionate about and skilled at. What you're passionate about and skilled at. So this includes your unique talents, your knowledge, the work that genuinely excites you. The second key element is what your ideal audience needs and values. So this is about understanding the pain of these ideal clients, their goals, and their desires. And the third key element is where there's a demand in the market. Your niche must align with areas where people are actively looking for solutions and actively willing to invest in them. In short, your niche is that unique combination of your expertise, your audience, and the problems that you solve. So it creates a clear, distinct space for you in your industry, even if it's a crowded industry, helping you to stand out, connecting you with the right people, and building a business that is both fulfilling and sustainable. So let's take a closer look at how to define a niche for yourself. One of the first things that I notice when women step into my year-long mastermind, Sorceress CEO, or when they come to me for private mentoring, and this is pretty much across the board. I don't think I can think of a case where this wasn't happening. And I know this has been true for me in the past as well. It's been a journey for me to really get more skilled at this. And that's the only reason why I can see it in other people when it's not developed and speak to it now. So the first thing I notice is how unclear and vague their messaging is. And during our initial intuitive strategy session, prior to which I do a website audit if the client has a website, and I can often see that they're relying on heavily used jargon, like even overused jargon, like words like transformation, authentic, empowered, embodied, these sorts of things. And while these words may resonate personally, they're too broad to make an impact. And they're trying to speak to too many people at once rather than focusing on a specific audience and a specific outcome and using more unique and fresh language. Because when we hear these different words a lot, they just pass over us. They don't really sink in. So now at the same time, many of these women, when they start working with me, one of the reasons why they want to start working with me is they're not generating the traffic that they want or the engagement that they want, and ultimately the revenue that they want. And here's the connection. The lack of specificity in their messaging directly correlates to a lack of right fit clients and the resulting lack of adequate cash flow. When your message is vague, it becomes difficult for potential clients to understand how your work is going to help them or why you are even the right person for them in the first place. So this is why defining your niche and clearly articulating the transformation you provide to your clients is so critical. And as with everything I teach, I like to take a more countercultural, inside-out approach. So choosing your niche isn't about choosing what's popular or where you think the big money will be, although neither of those are bad things. They're just likely not going to be sustainable over the long term or even successful in all the holistic ways you want it to be, because we're not just measuring success here with numbers. So the first step in defining your niche is to start by asking yourself some key questions. Here are those questions. Okay, you ready? Who do I love working with? Who are my favorite clients, my dream clients, my soulmate clients? These are the people who truly value you and value what you offer. They are eager for transformation. They're ready to show up, to meet you halfway or more, and do the work. They're also the ones who want to invest in themselves and are willing to pay you well for your expertise. And ultimately, these are the people you want to spend your time working with, because when you don't, well, we all know how that story ends. It's not fulfilling for you, and likely it's not fulfilling for them either. And misaligned clients often lead to frustration, burnout, and a disconnect in the results that you're actually able to help them to achieve. Another way to think about this, defining your niche, is something that has really helped me over the years, and to really ask yourself, who was I 1, 2, 3, or even 5 years ago? And often the person you were back then is the same type of person you feel called to serve now. And you've lived through the challenges that they're currently facing. You know how to get from where they are now to where you are today, and you can help them cross that bridge with a lot of specificity and compassion. So take some time to really reflect on these questions and your own story. And what are the things that helped you to get from where you were then to where you are now? And all of those things are going to be reflected in your niche, because even the work that I'm doing now, it's a very specific niche. It's blending business, intuitive guidance, women's spiritual leadership, internal family systems, working with a specific kind of woman entrepreneur who feels drawn to these things. So your niche often reveals itself when you focus on the people you are most excited to serve and the transformation you know that you are uniquely positioned to help them experience. So I like to work with women who were like me some years ago, who are go-getters, who have spiritual depth, who have a lot of experience with personal development, and who have a real passion for serving and for learning how to grow a business, who are just willing to show up and do the work, and also to look in those deeper places within themselves, to take a lot of personal accountability, and who feel a deep call to service. So the more granular you can get with all this, the better. And to truly define your niche, you want to be as clear and specific about your ideal client as possible. So let's break it down a little bit for you. Let's start with the externals, because that can be easier to notice. First, what gender identity are they? How old are they? What's the age range? How do they like to spend their time? Like, consider their hobbies, their lifestyles, their routines. What kind of work or profession do they usually do? What books do they like to read? What podcasts do they listen to? What influencers or thought leaders do they like to follow? And where do they hang out online? Is it Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok? Do they not like to be online? And once we clarify those things, then we can start to look at the internals by going deeper into their inner world. And this is where it can be helpful to reflect on yourself some years ago. What are their deepest dreams? What do they secretly long for? What fears and anxieties keep them up at night? What have they tried before that didn't work? And why didn't that work for them? What limiting beliefs are holding them back? What do they value most in their lives and their work? What motivates them to take action? Like, what's their big why? And what do they feel is missing from their life or their business now? What objections or concerns might they have about working with you? So you can start to see that by answering these questions, you'll not only understand who your ideal client is, but also how to speak to them in a way that really resonates. And your goal is to meet them where they are, both externally and internally, and show them how you can help them achieve their deepest desires and overcome their biggest challenges. So right about now is probably a good time to talk about resistance that may come up for you around niching down. And some of your parts may be raising their hand, speaking up. And I want to say it is totally natural to feel some resistance to narrowing your focus. So you might fear that by limiting yourself, you'll miss out on opportunities. Or maybe you genuinely love working with a wide range of people and you don't want to exclude anyone. If that is the case for you, by all means, listen to it, honor it. Remember, you are your own best guide. That said, it's important to understand the context of your work. Casting a really wide net can work well in certain situations. For instance, if you're a major influencer like Oprah or Glennon Doyle or Gabby Bernstein, each of these women have a broad audience, even though I would argue that they have their own niches in a way, they're just bigger ones. Or if you're a therapist content with doing 1 hour, one-off sessions with clients across a variety of needs, you may not feel the need to niche down deeply. However, many women who come to work with me are therapists of some sort, and they are not content with that business model, and they're wanting to scale, they're wanting to create group programs, and to do that, you have to niche down. So again, if your vision involves scaling your business, charging premium prices, delivering targeted transformational results, narrowing your niche is key. And the more specific you are, the easier it becomes to position yourself as the go-to expert for a particular type of client or problem. So it also increases your work satisfaction because you're actually working with the people you want to work with in the ways you want to work with them, and you're getting paid well to do that. So it's really like a triple win. So I want to reiterate some common niching mistakes to avoid. Some of these we've already discussed, and the last one is going to be a new one, but I really want to anchor these in. So the first mistake, cannot emphasize this enough, is you're being too broad. You're being too general. Trying to appeal to everyone dilutes your message, makes it hard for your ideal clients to see themselves working with you. When your messaging is vague, it gets lost in the noise of a crowded marketplace. Instead, aim for clarity, specificity. Number 2, choosing a niche based purely on profit potential. And I doubt if you're listening to this, that this is a mistake that you are prone to make, but I'm just going to include it here anyway. So yes, we want to ensure there's a market demand for what you're offering, but choosing it based solely on profitability will lead to burnout and misalignment. You have to be genuinely passionate about what you're doing. And what we are talking about here, just in general in this podcast, is your business as your calling. It's like a sacred mission, and you have to feel that deep pull inside of you. And the more that we do that, the more that we follow that, the more that things are going to fall into place, because that is our right path. So the third mistake to avoid, and I kind of just spoke to that, is ignoring your intuition. So you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again. Your intuition is one of your most powerful tools as an entrepreneur and as a woman. If something about what you're offering does not feel right, pay attention to that. So maybe it's not specific enough. Maybe it's not aligned with your deeper calling. And on the other hand, if you feel a strong pull in a certain direction, even if it feels unconventional, just trust yourself enough to explore it. And your intuition can guide you toward a niche that feels authentic and fulfilling. So the last mistake is not testing and refining. And we haven't covered this yet, but it's crucial. Your niche is not set in stone. Let me say that again. Your niche is not set in stone. Nothing you do is set in stone. It's something you can refine and adjust as you gain more clarity and experience over time. So many of the women that I work with, one of the fears that they have about finding their niche is that they have to get it perfect before they put it out there. Or as Seth Godin says, before they ship it. And I want to really advocate for the fact that mindset couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, the best approach always in business is to iterate and put your ideas out there as quickly as you can. The more you experiment, the more you get feedback, positive and negative, and no feedback is feedback, right? The more that you put things out there and get a response, even if it's a lack of response, the more refined your niche will become over time. So for example, you might discover that you enjoy working with a slightly different type of client than you originally envisioned. And this realization might require a shift in your messaging to better attract more of that kind of person. Or you might notice that certain offers resonate more deeply with your audience, leading you to pivot or narrow your focus further. So a lot of this comes just through the relationality of our work, which is also very feminine. We're not creating in these echo chambers. We're creating through relationship. And another common mistake is choosing a niche and just rigidly sticking to it, even when it's not working. So really give yourself the freedom and also have the courage to test your messaging, test your offers, test your audience, get feedback from coaches and mentors, pay attention to what excites you and what generates the best response from your audience. And all of this takes time. It's a natural, ongoing, evolutionary process. So again, the key is to take action and to trust that process, because clarity comes from doing. It never comes from just thinking alone. The last piece I want to highlight is to really also look at market opportunity, especially in today's market. So defining your niche is not just about following your own passions. It's not just about identifying your ideal clients. It's also about recognizing the market opportunity. So a successful niche lives at the intersection of what you are passionate about. And you can think about that as like your zone of genius. Like, what would you do even if you didn't get paid for it? What your audience needs and what the market is ready to pay for. So let's look at the first thing, where there is a genuine need. Look at what challenges or frustrations do your ideal clients face? What goals or transformations are they striving for? And are there gaps in the market where people are underserved? So when you look for these things, people are much more willing to invest in solutions that directly improve their lives, their well-being, or their business. So we also want to look at how you can stand out in today's market. And in an episode that I shared at the end of last year, 2024, I talked about how we're living in a trust recession where trust is at an all-time low and people are more skeptical than ever of businesses, of brands, and so-called experts because there is so much out there and people have been burned. So to stand out in today's trust recession, it's more critical than ever to showcase your credibility and authenticity. So share your personal story, share your qualifications, and share the real results that you've achieved for your clients. Be specific, so avoid vague promises like I help you feel empowered. And again, instead focus on really clear, tangible outcomes, being really specific about the transformation that you provide. Be consistent, so trust is built over time through consistent messaging, consistent content, consistent follow through. Again, this is about building relationships and cultivating relationships. So people are far more likely to buy when they feel connected to you and when they trust you. So really focusing on creating meaningful engagement rather than just trying to appeal to everyone. And the last piece to this part would be finding that sweet spot between oversaturated, so being too broad, and being too specific. So one of the ways to do that is to research your competition. And I don't necessarily even like the word competition, but who's already serving your ideal client and look at what are they doing well and where might they be falling short? Like where are there some gaps in their approach? And that can help you carve out your own unique angle, your own unique kind of corner of the market. And then think about how can you differentiate yourself? So if your niche feels crowded, focus on what makes you and your approach distinct. So it could be your background, it could be your story, your methodology, or the unique way that you deliver results for people. So again, we're talking about like just getting super specific. And ensure viability. So if your niche is too narrow, it may lack enough demand. So you want to look for a balance between where you can serve a focused group of people while still reaching enough potential clients to be sustainable. And then again, test and refine. So if you're unsure, start slightly broader and then narrow it down as you get more clarity about what resonates and what feels the most aligned. So I want to bring this back to you and start to come to a close by offering you practical steps to find your niche. So here are some journaling prompts that may help you. What work feels the most fulfilling and energizing for me? Who are my favorite clients or collaborators? And what do I love about working with them? What challenges or transformations have I personally navigated that I feel called to help others with? What compliments or feedback do I consistently receive from others? What do I naturally find myself teaching, guiding, or helping others with? If money weren't an issue, what work would I want to do every day? And what kind of impact do I want to make in the world through my business? So these prompts will help you identify themes that point to your ideal niche. So here are some signs that you have found your right niche. So you feel excited and energized by the work you're doing. Your messaging and your offers resonate with your audience. You can clearly articulate the problem you solve and the transformation you provide. Your niche feels sustainable, both in terms of market demand and your own capacity and interest. And you notice steady momentum, whether that's in growing your audience, refining your messaging, or attracting the right clients. So remember, your niche is not a lifelong commitment, it's a starting point. And as you grow and evolve, so will your business. You may find you want to shift focus. That's completely normal. You want to expand into new areas. You want to refine your messaging further. Give yourself permission to pivot as you grow and evolve. The key is to stay curious and responsive. So finding your niche is a journey. It's not a one-time thing. And every iteration brings you closer to that next right alignment of your passion, your audience's needs, and the market's demand. So as we wrap up today's episode, let's just take a moment to integrate what we've covered, because we've gone through a lot, and to look at your next steps. And the reason why I'm going so deep into this is because it's like the foundation for everything. And I just really find that women entrepreneurs are not spending enough time getting clear about this before moving to the next steps. So take some time this week to reflect on your niche. You can use the journal prompts I shared earlier to help you with this. Then start testing, whether that's having conversations with potential clients. That's one of the first assignments I give to women in Sorceress CEO. There's a whole interview questions that I share with them to have calls with potential clients to really delve deep into their inner and outer worlds. And that will help you refine your messaging and then create a small offer and see what resonates. So if today's episode resonated with you and you want to take the next steps to really build your business from the inside out based on a solid foundation, I invite you to join me in my free workshop series, Step into Your Sorceress CEO. And this IFS-based business training walks you through the unique 3-pillar process that helps you to go from being an overwhelmed entrepreneur to being a self-led steward of a sacred business, to stepping into your Sorceress CEO, which is an empowered leader of your business, rooted in your feminine energy and your masculine clarity. And in this workshop series, we will go deeper into all of this, showing you how to grow your dream business from your highest self. So all of this is happening with an incredible group of really devoted, deep, brilliant women from around the world, February 4th to 6th. And you can learn more and save your seat at programs-sarahavaughnstover.com/workshop. That's programs-sarahavaughnstover.com/workshop. And the link to that will also be in the show notes. I would love to connect with you in real time there. So thank you for being here today. I am grateful to share this space with you. Happy Lunar New Year for me. Happy, hopefully, redo to the start of 2025. And join me next week as we continue our Sorceress CEO series with the next episode. Until then, I send you my love and my Thank you for joining me today. And remember, change doesn't come from listening alone. I invite you to commit to taking one small or large courageous action after today's conversation. One step you can take, if you haven't already, is to sign up for my Sunday journal. It's a weekly newsletter filled with inspiration and reflections about the intersection between spiritual entrepreneurship and fulfilling your potential to help you become the woman you truly are in every area of your life. You can subscribe at programs-sarahavaughnstover.com/journal. And if you found this podcast valuable, please share it with the women in your world. Also, I'd be very grateful if you'd leave a review. It helps others find resources like this, and I'd love to hear what's coming alive for you after listening today. Above all, keep going, and never forget the unique offerings you and your true self bring to the world. Until next time, I'm sending you my heartfelt support.